Hello, and welcome to Elements of Style, Session 2. Remember from the Session 1, we talked about Strunk and White, a little book that was given to me by my father to help me write better English. So we're going to plow a little further into it and do Chapter 2. Last time we talked about very elementary rules of English usage, and now we're going to talk about composition, pulling what you know in English together so it's composed. When I think about composition, I think about music and how you pull harmonies and melodies together and it sounds lovely. So these are the elementary rules of composition. In the next sessions, we'll talk about matters of form, commonly misused little oopses that we make, and then summing it all up at the end on style. So what are the elementary principles of composition? So first of all, look at your assignment. Did your assignment offer you a template? Did it say this is the way it should be laid out? Or did it just say it must be APA style, in which case we are talking about a title page, an introduction, level headings, and a conclusion. Look at the rubric. Does the rubric call for three sources? Does it call for conclusion at the end? Look at the rubric so you maximize your points. Think about the audience. Are you preparing this for the general public, or are you preparing this for learned professionals? Look at the instructions in the prompt. And actually, the prompt should cue you for what the level headings might be in an essay, for example. Don't just copy and paste the question or copy and paste the prompt into level headings. That's sloppy. That's not composed. That's dissonance in music. But do cue off that so that your instructor at the end goes, well, the assignment said these three things, and I can see all these three things. And in the introduction, the writer said that they would cover these three things. And then in the summary, of the conclusion, they said that they covered these three things. I guess I should give them credit for these three things. So always sort of take a moment to look at what is the assignment, what resources have been given to me, and how am I supposed to compose this assignment? Remember that the paragraph is the unit of the composition. It should not be bullet items. APA style does not encourage bullet items. You are not writing an infographic. You're not writing a PowerPoint slide. You must indent every paragraph except for an abstract. Now, a lot of students do not indent the first paragraph, and let me tell you why you do that. Because in textbook style, the very first paragraph often has some beautiful, illustration and then is not indented. And you're so used to looking to textbooks that you write like that. Don't write like that. This is not a textbook. You're not writing a textbook. You indent every paragraph, including that first paragraph, unless it is an abstract. Use at least 3 sentences. Otherwise, it's very choppy. And if you can only write one sentence about something, it probably either needs to be expanded or contracted into the previous paragraph. Fully develop every idea in the paragraph and then make a transition to the next paragraph. This section or this paragraph discussed da 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 da, and the next section will describe da da da. So, keynotes. Use the active voice as much as possible, but don't force it. So if at all possible, use active verbs, is, do, stated, those kinds of things. But if it doesn't seem like it's going to work, it is okay to use passive voice usually. Just don't make it all passive. Things are not always done to your project. Your project does things. Use positive statements. Well, this wasn't found, and they didn't say this, and they didn't say positive things. Wow, that leaves your reader with a real negative feeling about what you're writing about. Use positive statements. What was found? What were your positive ideas? Unless, specifically, you're noting limitations and barriers. Use concrete language, not love and, these sort of ethereal abstract concepts. Talk about what happened. Concrete language. Show objectivities. Sometimes people like to say, this was an excellent article. That's your opinion, folks. This was an article which discussed da 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 da. That's a fact. Okay. So be objective. You tell your reader what it is and let them draw the conclusion that it was excellent. Omit needless words just to meet word count. Your instructor knows you're trying to meet word count. The one I hate the most is thank you for this post. Now that adds nothing of substance, and the person actually had to write that post anyway. So thanking them for the post makes no sense. It's not a sentence, it's not substantive, and it just adds word to the word count. And that's all you're doing. And we know it. So weave it together like a basket. Avoid a succession of just loose sentences that don't make any sense. Make them into a paragraph, expand on them, express similar ideas in similar ways. Keep related words and ideas together. I shouldn't feel like I think I already read that. Those concepts should be put together in a succinct paragraph. Use one tense throughout. Don't talk about this author stated and then this author states and this kind of thing. No, they all published in the past. So they all stated, they all said, they all surveyed. It's all the same tense. So place emphatic words at the end of sentences. So if you want to have some kind of emphasis, like saying that something was vital, put that at the end of the sentence so that it's, or a paragraph, so that they're left with the impression of emphasis. A conclusion should tie all together in a robust summary, but it should only be your ideas. It should not be sharing other people's ideas. There should never be a citation in a conclusion because that's not your ideas. There should be a summary in the conclusion of your own ideas. So final takeaways, it's not so scary to write. Don't be scared. Just start writing. Let it flow at first. Then go back and edit it. I even do that with emails. I just get it out there. And then I add the, how are you today? And all that nice fluffy stuff. But first of all, I just get, what is it that I want to tell this person out, right? And then fluffify it and make it gentle. But even when I write, I get my ideas, I get my outline out there, I get it out there. And then I go, I think I can say that better. Or I read it aloud and go, ooh, there's a spelling mistake or something. So let it flow out of you and then edit. Then tighten up your work by reviewing for these things. Looking at the assignment, does it actually meet the requirements of the assignment, or did you go off on some kind of tangent and down a rabbit hole, and so you really never got to all the things that were required in the assignments? Do my paragraphs make organizational sense? Do they flow from general to specific, from strategic to tactical, or whatever, from chronological? Is there some sense to the order that I talk about things? Do they flow into each other? Is there like a transitional sentence that makes sense from one section to the next? Are all the sentences in the active voice concrete, positive, and are they concise, or are you just filling the word count? And does my work show objectivity, or do I have a lot of this is excellent, this is outstanding, this is important? That's up to your reader to decide. And does it lack bias, where it's clear that you have a bias towards something, and that's throughout your writing? Is this work woven together with a logical organization? And does it end in a summary that just reminds the reader how important your ideas are? Your ideas are. So as always, if I can ever help you with anything, please reach out and shoot me an email. Again, we thank the author for the book on which this is based.